Good evening. Today I'm going to talk on transport of carbon dioxide. A very basic only. My channel is Pain Free Partha and my website is www.painfreepartha.com for all these slides. Now we will go to the introduction. Where from which the carbon dioxide is produced? From almost all cells, from the mitochondria, the metabolism, carbon dioxide is produced. Now, how much ml is produced? 200 ml is produced per minute. It depends upon it can slightly change, but normally on an average, it produces 200 ml per minute. Oxygen consumption, how much we consume oxygen? 220 ml. 200 ml, get out. 220 ml, get in. 200 by 220 is called respiratory quotient. That is what is 0.8. Carbon dioxide is transported in the blood from the tissue to the lungs in three ways. Dissolved in a solution as bicarbonate and bound to protein, particularly hemoglobin. Recall again, dissolved in solutions, bicarb, proteins, particularly hemoglobin. These are the three things. When you say hemoglobin, oxygen is bound to heme portion, while carbon dioxide is bound to globin portion. It is protein portion. That is the difference. Now carbon dioxide is inside and it transfers into dissolved carbamino and bicarbonate. This bicarbonate is the major thing, 70%. Carbamino compounds are around 20% and dissolved carbon dioxide into the blood or plasma is 7%. So 70, 23, 7. So maximum is bicarbonate. That is what we should remember. How it is transferred? It is bicarbonate. The carbon dioxide content, PaCO2, see here, the partial pressure is on the venous side is around 45 and on the arterial side is around 40. The dissolved carbon dioxide is 2.7, 2.4 venous and arterial. You can see the total content may be around 52 and 48. So this is about this thing. The PaCO2 on the venous side is 45. The PaCO2 on the arterial side is 40. Content is 52 versus 48. Now carbon dioxide is produced to the tissues. From there it goes to the RBCs. It traverses the pulmonary arteries from 45 to 40. This pushes the blood from the lungs. Le-Chatelier's principle. What is Le-Chatelier's principle means? If there is a difference between the concentration of two things, what it does is it changes into some compound so that it is diffusible. That is what is called Le-Chatelier's principle. For example, carbon dioxide cannot go in. It changes into bicarbonate and goes in. If the bicarbonate doesn't go in, it changes to carbon dioxide, go out. This is what is the basic Le-Chatelier's principle I have understood. Now you see, from the tissues, carbon dioxide is produced. First, it is dissolved in the plasma. How much it is dissolved? 7%. Okay, there is also a carbonic anhydrase in the plasma, which converts HDCO3 carbon dioxide, but it is very slow and the portion is minuscule. Carbon dioxide enters the red blood cell, changes into carbonic acid, dissolves into bicarbonate and H+. This bicarbonate goes out, and because this bicarbonate negative goes out, some negative has got to come in. This is inside the RBC. There is a shift of chloride. That is what is called the chloride shift or the hamburger shift. Now, this H+ gives O2 and HbO2 becomes HHB. This is what it happens here. The carbon dioxide is coming out, the oxygen is going into the tissues. HbO2 dissolves to forms the oxygen here and HB, this forms HHB here. This is what is happening in the tissues versus blood. I am again telling you simple terms. This is complicated. CO2 goes in, H2O carbonic anhydrase because the main thing is inside red blood cells. HCO3 goes out, H plus forms HHB and oxygen is diffused. Okay, this is about the diffusion in the cells. Carbonic anhydrase is more in the RBCs and fast in the RBCs. So that is why in plasma it is less. And whenever we say carbonic anhydrase converts carbon dioxide plus water into carbonic acid, this is mainly we talk about the red cell. Now what happens in the lungs? It's a reverse. Bicarbonate reconverts to carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide diffuses into the alveoli and is exhaled here. This is the lungs. This is the tissues. From the tissues, here from the lungs, oxygen comes in. HBO2 forms. H plus HCO3. This comes in here and chloride goes out. So this is the same thing happens in the reverse. So again the CO2 goes. This is a fast carbonic anhydrase. This is what happens in the lungs. So if you say bicarbonate is the principal transport mechanism of carbon dioxide, you are okay. What is Haldane effect? Already we know deoxygenated blood will carry more carbon dioxide at a given PCO2. Now you see the carbon dioxide dissociation curve is not like oxygen dissociation curve. It's PCO2 plus concentration. Here if the PO2 is less, then the carbon dioxide content is more. So deoxygenated blood will carry more carbon dioxide. This is God's gift to enable the normal physiology. Yes, the carbon dioxide dissociation curve is between PCO2 and the concentration, the arterial point and the venous point. So this deoxygenated carries more carbon dioxide. That is what is called the Haldane effect. This is the Haldane effect, very clearly mentioned in the carbon dioxide dissociation curve. Carbon dioxide is 20 times more soluble in oxygen than oxygen. It is very easy. It goes in, goes out easily. High solubility, high diffusing capacity. That is why a large shunt in the lungs. There is no ventilation. There is a big pneumonia. There is directly blood going from the venous side to the arterial side. No oxygenation taking place because there is a pneumonia. This is what is called shunt. Even a large shunt of 50%, carbon dioxide easily moves out because high solubility and diffusing capacity, patients will end up only with hypoxia because here you can see even a large shunt, the carbon dioxide increases from 6 to 6.3, while the oxygen falls from 13 to 7. That is the difference when you have a shunt, because this is easily diffusible and high diffusing capacity, more 20 times more soluble. It goes in and goes out easily, even with 50% shunt and 50% lungs work. So that is the reason why hypoxemia, higher VQ places can compensate for lower ventilation spaces. The one lung is gone, the other lung can compensate for carbon dioxide, but it cannot compensate for oxygen in an acute setting. For example, if the patient has already got a pneumonectomy done, that is a different issue. There is no shield. When carbon dioxide content increases, a partial pressure of CO2 does not change very much. There is no plateau, just it keeps going up. Now this is about bicarbonate. We have clearly told carbon dioxide comes out of the tissues. It combines with water, carbonic anhydrase, carbonic acid, H plus bicarbonate goes on, chloride comes in. This H joins with H, which we like. So this is what is a lungs and tissues. These assumes significance only in the absence of carbonic anhydrase and needs to stabilize pH changes, because whenever the carbon dioxide is transported primarily only through bicarb, then there is a danger about acid shifts, pH changes, always. So yes, this needs to be there 20% to annul the pH changes, to decrease the pH changes. So the carbon dioxide is produced, bicarbonate carbamino compounds are dissolved, bicarbonate is there and moves out and eliminated via the lungs, carbon dioxide. This is what is the tissue cells. Again, CO2 is produced, carbonic anhydrase, HHB, HCO3 go out, chloride comes in. In the lungs, carbon dioxide is going out and oxygen is coming in. So there are three forms. One is dissolved in plasma, 7%. Bicarbonate, 70%. Carbamino compounds, which is bound to globin portion of the hemoglobin. That is around 20-23%. 200 ml is produced and 220 ml of oxygen is consumed. So the respiratory quotient is 0.8. What is chloride shift? Yes, because carbonic acid is formed, bicarbonate plus HCl, bicarbonate goes out, so chloride has to go inside the cell to maintain electroneutrality. That is called Rambanjak phenomenon. Carbonic anhydrase is two forms, fast, more is there in the red cell. That is why it is used. Carbon dioxide has got high solubility and high diffusing capacity. That is why even with 50% shunt, 50% non-working lungs, yes, the carbon dioxide remains stable while there is severe hypoxemia. Thank you for watching me in this YouTube pain-free Partha. Visit me, learn and see more videos and put comments. Thank you very much. And again, bye from